Nutrition is a big one with dementia. So when you're living independently, what you might find is that mum or dad are struggling to cook meals in the way that they used to. And so they're probably not living on good nutritional food. And you might pick up on that by having a look in the fridge and seeing what they're eating. What happens as dementia progresses though is that the hunger valve seems to kind of switch off, and then we really need to encourage people to eat. So we talk about picky eaters, but in reality our brain is kind of going back to its primitive stage where, you know, we're not so much looking at eating healthy food. A lot of the times, you know, we eat healthy food because we know that it's healthy. But if we were to be given a choice of, you know, a plate of broccoli and a cream cake, most of us would really want to choose the cream cake. And that's what happens with dementia. I'm going to go now for the stuff that I really like, and that could be something that's very sweet. You know, that primitive part of our brain really likes sweet stuff. And so introducing people to foods where they can finger pick, I would say, so that they can see food and they can just eat it on the go rather than sit down and eat a full meal. That might be quite overwhelming for a person with dementia. So what I would do is I would leave little bowls of food around in places that the person would go to. And it might be nice, healthy, colourful food, things like strawberries and raspberries, something that's got a hit so that it visually looks really nice. And when they eat it, it tastes really good as well. And we can do stuff like that to really encourage people to eat. We need to encourage them to drink as well, because for some people that's not a natural thing to just hydrate. So we need to have a lot of drinks around as well and make them look really exciting and colourful and that they want a drink. You know, a really good tip would be to have a bar and have what looks like cocktails and have it all looking really nice and sparkly. And to invite the person in to come and sit and have a drink with you. You know, most people like to do things sociably, and eating and drinking is a really sociable thing to do. So if we can sit and eat with the person, they're more likely to eat. If we are to sit and drink with the person, they're more likely to drink, especially if we're doing that too. Nighttime routines can be improved by daytime routines. So if we keep the person busy enough throughout the day, and if we keep them stimulated enough so that they have the natural up and down circadian rhythm without too much sleep, well then we're looking at like a healthy nighttime routine. We can also look at the room as well. You know, we know that the room will need to be a good layout. Obviously the temperature of the room needs to be good. We all know that, don't we? We can also think of noises as well. So sometimes in care, there can be noises that we would never have in our own normal homes. So if we can minimise that, that could aid sleep. And also minimising things like shadows and stuff being hung up on the back of doors. So remember, with dementia, our vision's going to change, and we might have what we call misperceptions, and that is looking at something and seeing it as being something else. So if we can make sure that the room is clear, there's no clutter, and that there's no maybe obvious patterns on curtains or wallpaper, all of that might stop the person from looking around their environment and seeing things that are out of place. We also have a dementia called Lewy body's dementia, which there are hallucinations that are associated with that. And that's something that we can't really move away from, because the medications kind of are really strange to get right for stuff like that. So with Lewy body dementia, it's a lot about reassurance. So we can do that by, if a person is having a hallucination, just moving them into a different space and validating how they're feeling. So if a person is having a hallucination, they're seeing something, and we need to validate that it's right for them and to move them away from that, rather than tell them that it's not there. Physical activity, I think, is really the number one when it comes to dementia, and it's something, if we are able to move about, is really crucial in several different ways. So if you can get up and you can move about and you can get into the outdoor space and you can go for a walk, that is really good, not just for your mental health, but for your physical health as well. If we're struggling to walk about, we can do a lot of chair-based exercises. So we can have activities where we can sit in a chair and we can move about. And this is getting our limbs moving, but it's also a really nice thing to do. You know, it can be a sociable thing. We can be doing it with other people and we can make it fun. We can put some music on and we can make it like a nice activity whilst we're doing something really good for our bodily health. Exercise is excellent in so much as it's a feel-good factor. It's something that can be done with other people, so there's a sociable aspect to it. We can introduce a little bit of music, and we all know that music is really great for levelling. People with dementia will hold on to music way longer than what we can hold on to language and conversation. Also, exercise can really push back dementia. Even a person who has a dementia can actually really increase the length of good quality time if you introduce physical activity into their daily life. Physical activity grows a part of the brain called the hippocampus, which is responsible for learning. And so we can actually increase the structures of our brain through physical activity. What physical activity also does as well, it increases the benefits to our heart, our vascular health, and that can obviously be a big benefit. We know that there's a vascular dementia, so anything that can increase and benefit vascular health is a really good benefit.